Hi, Dave McIntosh here with another adventure for you. This time we were going to travel north up Highway 11 along the west side of Algonquin Park to a little community, Emsdale. And then we're going to turn and go back in to Kearney. And that's where you can get your permits to get into the park. From Kearney, you can travel east to the Rain Lake access point, or you can travel northeast to Magnetawan Lake access point. Both of them have a half-hour trip on a gravel road to get back in. We have traveled both ways into the park, and the only thing we didn't like was the long travel on a gravel road to get back to the access point. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to my channel. We will first talk about the Rain Lake access point. Rain Lake is a long, narrow lake oriented east and west and fairly easy to travel. It is great to get started on your trip. From Rain Lake, you can go north or south or continue traveling east, and that is what we did. From Rain Lake, we traveled on to Misty Lake, but to get there, you have several portages that take you from small lake to small lake that are under 500 meters. So the portages aren't bad. In one sense, it is a little annoying though, because of all the loading and unloading of the canoe, but the scenery is enjoyable. The travel from Rain to Misty can be done in a day, and then Misty is a great lake to camp on for several days, and then take day trips in whichever direction you wish to go. We have stayed on Misty 2 or 3 times and really enjoyed our stays. There seems to be a lot of loons on the lake, and we really enjoy listening to them as they call to each other. One of the sites we stayed on was on a bit of a slope, and so the flat spot for the tent and the fire pit was up on the slope a bit, but we really enjoyed our stay on it. One night, we were getting ready for dinner and a storm blew in, so we dove into the tent to get out of the rain. It was a strong storm, and while we were in the tent, it ballooned up like a parachute. I didn't know what was happening. After a bit, the storm passed, and while we were eating supper, a large tree fell. It seemed like it might be in the next campsite, and I thought, what are they doing? You're not supposed to cut down trees in the park. A few days later, when we got out, we discovered that a tornado had gone through the park, and that is probably what took down the tree and ballooned up our tent. One year, we traveled east from Misty along the Petawawa River. It was along here that we saw an eagle's nest and an eagle, though we did have to contend with some beaver dams. From Misty, we have also traveled south a bit to Timberwolf Lake and then on to McIntosh Lake. We had to visit my namesake lake. From Misty, we traveled out the same way we went in, but on one occasion, we went out through Little Misty and then west on the Petawawa River and then back down to Moccasin Lake and then out Rain Lake. This area has a lot of options for routes to take. The other access point is at Magnetawan Lake, And from there, you can either travel southeast to Daisy Lake, or you can travel northeast to Robert Bice Lake. But we are going to travel to Daisy Lake first. From Magnetawan Lake, you have a short paddle to the first short portage, and then into Hambone Lake. From Hambone, you head south to Daisy. If you were going to Bice, you would need to head northwest from Hambone. Daisy is a great little lake and quite cute and small, with lots of bays and very scenic. We stayed here on one occasion, but it is very hard to get a campsite on it during the busy summer months. You have to book very early. We stayed on a little island and thoroughly enjoyed ourselves. If you're traveling on from Daisy, you get on the Petawawa River, and it can be quite interesting. It is a different type of paddling, as the river is narrow with lots of turns, so you never know what's around the next corner, and sometimes it's quite shallow. We had to get out of the canoe in spots and pull the canoe behind us. On other parts of the Petawawa River, it is quite fast flowing with rapids, and people love to test out their canoeing skills in this area. We did not go there. Then you're into Little Misty Lake, and then into Misty, which I've already talked about. One time, just as we got into Misty, we saw a cow moose and its calf feeding along the shore just around the corner. This route in can also be done in a day and still give you time to find a campsite and set up for the night. We have also traveled out from Misty this way. One year, we traveled from Misty north to Shaw Lake, a cute little lake, and then we continued traveling north to the Tim River. We headed west along the Tim, which again is a fairly narrow river with lots of twists and turns. As we came around one corner, Trudy said, "Dave, there's a bear." Trudy thinks it was only feet away, but it was a couple 100 feet, and as soon as it saw us, it took off into the bush. It was only wanting a drink of water. This was the only bear we've seen in all the years we've traveled into the park. From the Tim River, we worked our way into Queer Lake and found a campsite there for the night. One of the things I like to do is leave our campsites better than we find them, and this campsite needed some work. So I spent some time cleaning up the brush all scattered around the site and cut some wood for the next campers who visited. It was a great sight with a picture no matter which direction you looked. In the morning it was quite foggy, and I got these great photos of some canoers heading out for the day in the fog. From Queer Lake, we traveled to Little Trout Lake and then on to Robert Bice Lake. Bice Lake is a fairly large lake and has a good number of campsites on it. If I have a choice of a site, I like to stay on the west side of a lake. Though this means you don't get some of the evening sun, I like it because I'm always up early and like watching the sun come up. It is also more protected if it gets stormy, as the weather usually comes in from the west. From Robert Bice Lake, we headed back out through Hambone to Magnetawan Lake, where our car was parked, and headed home. I trust you enjoyed this trip with us into Algonquin Park, and I hope to see you again soon on our next adventure. I trust you too will have the opportunity to travel into Algonquin Park, this big, beautiful, wonderful park, and have some adventures of your own.